Welcome back to the game, everybody. Our deceivers are at it again. Well, out here at the entrance of Spaceport Control, Odd Gunnar, who's our Facebook friend, is playing Oscara here, the Twi'lek bounty hunter. She's going to maneuver between the droids that were outside. Remember, she already shot and destroyed one of them. Putting herself between this droid and the two that are coming out to check on the disturbance. Remember that Vex inside, and having sliced this terminal, sent out some false information that the security droids at the entrance outside had malfunctioned and attacked a citizen. So as the other two droids approach to investigate, she cries out, "Help! These droids are crazy! They attacked us! Do something quick!" She's attempting to deceive them instead of attack them, to see if they might draw their guns on their fellow security droid and perhaps just add to the confusion. And if that works, she wants to try to slip inside, and perhaps the Wookiee will follow her lead. Let's see if her deception works. Well, for Oscara, it's deceit here, connected to cunning. We're going to have a yellow proficiency die and a green ability die. We're going to go against the droid here to see. Well, as we form our pool, we need to add a red die. This is because the droids are quite disciplined. And this is called a challenge die. We'll put that in there. One of the droids has been destroyed. The communications going back and forth between the different droids, it's providing conflicting information. There is some confusion. However, as Oscara is attempting to speak to the droids and kind of maneuver past them, of course they may be suspicious. They would probably want to detain her and have everybody calm down and get their stories straight and get to the facts of what has happened. So the fact that she's trying to make a hasty exit and one of the droids has already been destroyed kind of puts them at a gives them a little setback. So we're going to add one of these. Doesn't mean that she can't succeed. It's just going to make it a little more difficult. They have a reason to be suspicious here. And if that slice hadn't been successful, there would be no deception here whatsoever. It would just be straight combat. So let's read the dice. We have a triumph. I think this is the first one in our game. We have a triumph. We had 2 threat and 1 advantage, so those will cancel. That's going to leave 1 threat and 1 triumph. Well, I had to take a minute and do a little research here about a triumph, since it's the first one we've had in the game. The triumph does a couple of things for us here. For one, it does count as a success. So looking at straight success or failure, the Twi'lek succeeds in her deception. Then we're left with the kind of the rest of the triumph to be processed, and we have 1 threat. So something small, something minor bad happened, and then something good happened in a major way. So let's carry out the effects here. As the droids exit, Oscara manages to tell a pretty convincing lie. For the negative effects of this situation, she's uncomfortable. She takes a point of stress. That's going to be the threat. But the triumph is going to result in these 2 droids basically attempting to draw their weapons on their fellow droid and start trying to initiate security protocols that will shut this other droid down, perhaps truly believing that it has malfunctioned. So that's going to allow the Wookiee and the Twi'lek to start making their way inside the main control room. Well, inside the main control room, Jason Ellis, who's playing Pash, he says that he's going to try to deceive the overseer, to try to convince her that they're part of a repair team, and that the faulty droid accidentally tripped the security systems. So he turns and says, "Watch it, you rusty bucket of bolts." And he slaps Vex upside the head. Turning to the overseer, he says, "I'm sorry. He's got a bit of faulty programming and accidentally tripped the security monitors. We're the repair crew you ordered." So here we go. Contested role, deception. Well, the deceit skill here is looking a little better for Pash. He's going to have the proficiency dice and 2 ability dice here. So here we have Pash's pool of dice. The overseer is disciplined, and actually a little more disciplined than the droids. She's a little sharper, and a security alarm has been set off, so we're going to add a setback die. This may be a difficult roll to pull off. Now, as this attempt at deception is going on, Vex is busily working over on the terminal, so we're going to process that roll next. He's attempting to unlock the clamps that are holding down the ship. Well, let's take a look here. Already see a couple of failures peeking out. A good number of successes, and wow, this is interesting. We've got it's a success. We've got 2 failures and 3 successes, so that's going to give us a net result of 1 success. So let's just get those out of the way. But we've got a situation with both triumph and despair. Those are 2 of the highest results you can get. So we've got 1 in favor and 1 against. This has been an interesting roll to look at. With the single success, we're going to say that Pash buys Vex enough time to complete his work on the terminal. So what I'm going to do is pause for a moment, and I'm going to come back to this triumph and despair here. But let's allow Vex a moment here to try to get those docking clamps released. Well, for his computer's check, Vex has 4 green ability dice. And this is an average difficulty check. For an average check, we use 2 of the purple dice. Let's see what the results are. Pulling back a little bit, we have 3 successes, 1 threat, 2 advantage. So 3 successes and 1 advantage in the end. So that's completed. The docking clamps are released. Well, let's go back to this threat and despair. Let's handle the threat first. Not the threat, the what is that called? Triumph and despair. This is the despair. So just as Pash has convinced or deceived the overseer into thinking that they're part of a repair crew, the Wookiee and the Twi'lek rush inside. Now she's highly suspicious. Things aren't right. All the security is outside. An alarm has already been set off. She makes a jump towards the terminal and hits an emergency button. And it shuts down the main control room. Heavy doors fall and the windows, heavy shutters start to fall over the windows. This room is sealed off. But Pash makes a move, disarms the overseer from her sidearm, and has his gun on her. And so the counter to this is the triumph, and that is that the party now has complete control. They dominate the inside of the control station, and the ship, it has been released. So if they can make it over to the landing bay, then so be it. And the security now, the security droids are locked outside. They cannot get inside. That's the result of the triumph. But the despair is that they're locked inside. So this is an emergency situation. As you're safe and in control inside, you're out of control and sort of locked in a box here inside. So you're going to have to find a way to escape and get out and decide what you're going to do with the overseer. And remember, Pash spotted this before, there is a side entrance. So perhaps you could consider an escape that way. Talk it over. I'd love to hear from everybody on the Facebook posts. Let me know as a party what you'd like to do and who wants to take the lead in what particular actions. Opening up the doors will probably take some sort of computer work, and you have to decide what you're going to do with hostages inside, and sort of physically getting your way and trying to tear through these security doors is just not a possibility. So it's going to have to be done with either some sort of computers or mechanic check. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.